All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy CMB checking in. All right, guys, so I want to do a quick post-fight reaction to Deontay Wilder versus Derek Chisora. Got to watch the fight tonight, and I heard a lot of people complaining, saying that the fight was trash. Two old guys in there, just tired and lethargic looking. And I didn't really see it that way. I saw it as a very entertaining fight for, two guys, past their primes, in my opinion. I thought it was a good scrap. It wasn't really a boxing match. It was more like a fight to me. And congratulations to Deontay Wilder. He did get the win, guys. He won by split decision. And for transparency purposes, you guys know I always do this. I did pick Derek Chisora to win the fight by seventh round stoppage, even though I was rooting for Wilder in the fight. I just saw some inconsistencies in Wilder's game that concerned me going into the fight with a pressure fighter, with a guy who, punches a lot. His punch volume is up there like Derek Chisora. So that's why I picked Derek Chisora to win the fight. But let me say this, Wilder, he put up a good scrap on the inside. I thought he did. Typically we don't see Wilder Wilder fighting good on the inside, but he really didn't have a choice because honestly, I think, he could have made this fight easier on himself, in my opinion. He definitely has the physical attributes to do that. When you see Wilder training, he has a really stiff jab and he has long arms. He definitely could have used that to his advantage in the fight, but he didn't really do that with his jab in the fight. He was more like, probing with the jab, using it as a rangefinder instead of just sticking it out there and putting it in Derek Chisora's face and keeping him honest, keeping him on the outside. He could have easily won this fight, in my opinion, if he would have did that. If he would have used that jab to set up that right hand. Because I saw a lot of times, like I said in my prediction video, that right hand was going to be telegraphed. He was, not going to set it up. He was just going to be winging it. And he did that a lot. Now, sometimes he was successful with that, but, not all the time. But he could have had this fight won by a mile, in my opinion. Look at Sebastian Fundora. Look at how, when he changed up his fighting style after getting knocked up, he used those long arms. He utilized that jab to his advantage. And now he's difficult to get on the inside with. And Wilder, being as tall as he is, having that long arm reach, he could do the same thing. And we've seen him in training, throwing that jab and it looks powerful, but then he gets in the ring and he just doesn't put it together. So I just think Wilder has a lot of talent, God-given abilities, I would say, that he's not taking advantage of. I don't know if it's a switch in his head where, as soon as he gets in the ring, he seems to revert back to some of the things that he used to do, even though he has these new tools in his arsenal. Now, Wilder, I think he dropped Chisora in round number 8, and they took a point from Wilder in round number 8 when they said he pushed Chisora through the ropes. This was after the knockdown, which I thought that was a bunch of BS, guys. Come on. They took a point for that. I don't even think he did it on purpose. So it was some shenanigans going on there. He dropped him again in round number 11. He went through the ropes again. And then they said that Wilder got dropped by Chisora, but it looked like he slipped to me. But they ruled it a knockdown in round number 11. But all in all, it was a good fight. I think I had it, I didn't score it, but it to me, it looked like a fight that could have been a draw if it wasn't for the knockdowns, in my opinion. It could have been a draw, but I think Wilder. I think Wilder won the fight with the knockdowns. I clearly think Wilder won the fight. He put up a hell of a fight, and I'm proud of him for what he did in the ring tonight. Because honestly, I didn't know he still had it in him. I didn't know if he still had the fight in him. It just seems like he's been so shell shocked with the wars with Tyson Fury, but he let his hands go tonight, and he fought a hard fight. Like I said, he didn't have to. He definitely could have been. It could have been easier for him because, let's face it, Derek Chisora, he's no technical guy. He's the guy that's going to come straight ahead. He's tailor-made for a fighter that has a good long jab, and he's just going to throw a lot of punches, and that's what he did. He connected with some of those overhand rights. I knew that was coming because Wilder. I talked about Wilder always having his hands down, but yeah, Wilder could have won that fight easy. And I think that if Wilder plans on fighting guys like Usyk, if he plans on fighting guys like AJ, he's going to have to get that under control, using his jab to his advantage. I just see it as a great weapon for him, and he's just not using it to the best of his ability. But anyway, congratulations to Wilder. I'm glad he won. Now we'll see what he does next. Let me say this: Derek Chisora, man, a hell of a fighter. He has a lot of heart. He's not a technical guy, like I said, but he will come to fight, and he will fight anyone. And they love him over there in the UK. Shout out to the UK guys. You guys got yourselves a winner over there. Even though he lost the fight, he's always going to be a winner in my book. And Deontay Wilder, one face, one name. If that's what he's still striving for, he has the ability to do it. He just has to believe in himself and believe in his skill set and not revert back to old things. He just goes back to factory reset as soon as that bell rings. But if he can get past that, I think he has a good shot. I'm not saying he's going to beat the top guys like Usyk. It's anything's possible in the sport of boxing. But give yourself the best opportunity that you can to beat these guys, in my opinion. Anyway, you guys let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.